You want to give the people something. I mean, you want to be on time. To be on time is what? Okay.
Divine. I don't know. I just know that we are live. Woohoo!
And don't let nobody know. She just say, "Shut up talking."
She said, "Stop talking," and then it was like 10 seconds before she pressed
you know what? If you didn't listen,
and it's still live right now. Why are you talking about the fact that you didn't know?
Exactly. So, welcome everyone to another wonderful episode of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine. I am one of your co-hosts, Miss Smart, as in think pretty smart. I also have with me Lady Buddha and Sojo. Ladies, say hello.
Hello.
And Lady Buddha is over here yawning already.
Yawn?
It's not a game. I'm so tired.
She did. So, Lady Buddha, we'll start with you. What are you drinking on, yo?
So I'm in a hotel, and like yesterday I got a cab, and then today when I went down, the lady was like, "Oh, you want a cab?" I was impressed, but no, I didn't get a cab. I got a Grand Marnier and orange juice, and I'm way too far from the mic. Got Grand Marnier and orange juice today, so I'm excited. She really kind of hooked it up. So
that's mighty black of you.
I'm about to sip it down and go to sleep. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it all the way for the next hour or not.
Okay, well, I am
take a sip to your yawns. Every time you yawn, we take a sip.
Listen, we do need to play a drinking game.
Well, maybe not today, because people have to get up and go places. I mean, not Sojo, obviously.
Yeah, I have to get up, and I just need to go to sleep. But anyway, go ahead, y'all.
Sojo, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking water because that shade that you just threw me was because I thought that I had a 6 a.m. flight in the morning, which is actually on Thursday instead, so I didn't get anything.
I'm such a jet setter that I don't even know my flight that's 2 freaking days or later.
I don't even like y'all. You see how y'all gotta act anyway.
How much I jet set. Oh, it's Tuesday, or it's Wednesday, or it's Thursday. I don't know. I just got a flight. It's coming up. That's all I need to know.
I'm going to go to the airport. They're going to let me get on something.
Something.
If I show up, I'm going.
That's also why I'm not on camera, because I got my hair, what is it? Twist?
Pickaninny.
Yeah, but it's still wet. So I'm serving like Miss Cleo prison bitch fierceness right now. So, yeah, so I'm all kinds of flawed tonight. But anyway.
I'm going to figure out how to make your camera reveal.
No, you're not.
So you're not.
We can draw on you. We can make a camera
Not only is the camera off, it has that piece of gauze over the webcam. I'm not taking any chances.
And LB over there hazing me in the chat. Buddha, you can't be on the show snoring. I'm not going to snore, but sleeping is still within the realm of possibility. Anyway, what about y'all?
Well, I am drinking juice.
Juice?
Juice? Yes, because I have been so hyped lately that I just need juice. I just need a cup of juice.
Wait. Am I the only one drinking?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Yeah.
I need to fight these wedding bullies. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes, you're the only one drinking, so I'm over here enjoying a lovely juice, and like I said, I feel like it's going to settle my mood because I've been a little too spicy lately.
God.
I mean, you don't know thyself. By the way, ladies and anyone listening, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audiblechrial.com/Whiskey Wine Moon. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. You are welcome. Y'all weren't ready.
I got the tickle. I got the giggles now.
Meanwhile, she been drinking. Leonard
I just started. That's a full glass. I just got the giggles. I'm laughing right now at Leonard Brothers again in the chat.
He said, Sojo about to head to the airport 2 days early, go through security, and just unsuspiciously.
And then I'm laughing at Miss Smart, who just like suddenly started reading the commercial. It's all ridiculous right now.
ladies, word on the street is that we have a couple of pieces of feedback that Sojo is going to graciously read for us.
Am I? See?
Yes, yes, you're going to represent.
God.
It's very important that
Don't
you.
call me God. Call me goddess, not God, goddess.
You know what? I can tell the direction that this show is gonna head just from the very beginning. We were talking about what are we gonna name people in our Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, we were talking about we were going to give them a name, but we still don't have a name for them. But I did want to give a special shout out to Rarefine because she said she hated that she missed the live show last week. She said she had her own opinions and views on the topic discussed and examples. So Rarefine, send us, because that was our that was our Women Working Wages podcast.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to hear some of those examples. So if you could send some to us or let us know, what you were going to say, we'll still read it on air. And then Natasha sent us a comment on Stitcher, and I lost it.
All right.
Shut up. It was about saying that she enjoyed our analysis of the Orange is the New Black podcast. Yeah, that's what she said. She said, I absolutely love your analysis of Orange is the New Black. Great work, ladies. So thank you for giving us that feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we got another comment over here from Leonard Brothers about to get snatched.
Like, take it. Look, where is everybody? Where is Hustle Crow so he could compete?
He said he was he might be absent because he was playing.
Yeah.
In New Orleans for Essence.
So wait, let me just address something, and I don't know. I'm sure I've addressed this before, but let me address this directly. This comment says Spicy, aka Smart's default. She's from Detroit, nigga. Well, actually, technically, I'm not from Detroit. I just spent 12 years there.
Oh, good. So your formative years.
You're from Detroit, right? That's it.
No, I'm from Maryland now, and I was born in New York. So
you're not from Maryland, no.
No, that's not how it works.
Look, I know how to say things like up Merlin, and use their vernacular. I know all that.
No.
I know what a half and half is. I know where to get the best mambo sauce.
So Detroit. Every time I see something like that has like a Detroit reference, I'm like, oh my God, that is smart.
Don't that little subtle.
I'm still doing feedback. Hello.
Oh, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
We got Des Nash who on Google Plus.
Oh my God.
We need some order.
This was okay. Ladies,
I feel like we need to together. Can I read the comments and then we just start over?
Her, because she obviously can't get it together.
All right, so Mobile Greek said, "Great show, ladies. This was on Google Plus. Why did Miss Smart mute?
You better unmute me right this second.
Because she's not going to stop laughing. She's not going to let you finish reading.
Oh, shit.
And then Des Nash shared, good job. This is the second one I've caught and love it. Takes a lot to hold my interest. So thank you, Des, for joining us. We do appreciate that. And so for everybody who's new that may be listening, we're normally not this damn silly. I don't know.
When I'm tired, I get the giggles, so that's over. I can't stand y'all.
So appropriate. Leonard brother, see, Leonard, we're not gonna go back and forth because I can out petty you. So we talk about
that might be true, LB. Just bow out.
Out petty you.
He's saying, I've been in North Carolina since I was 18. I'm 34 now, but I'll always be from Hartford, Connecticut. LOL. Okay. What I did there, Leonard? You're not ready.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, so is that all of our comments and notes that we need to read?
Yeah.
So, as always, the ladies and I are on the WhatsApp, and we're like going around. Trying to figure out what we're gonna have for our topic, and we didn't have anything. And someone else had come up with the conversation in another WhatsApp. I don't know who it was that did it. I don't know if it was Ree or I don't know. Anyway, so we somehow decided that talking about life fulfillment, because at our core we are deep and meaningful women.
Mhm.
So we talked about fulfillment of life with regard, basically women and finding something that fulfills you. And before we go any further into it, I just want to point out that fulfillment, or not point out, but just let's all agree about the definition of fulfillment before we go any further. And fulfillment is being satisfied or happy because of fully developing one's abilities or character. So basically pleased, content, and the such. So does anybody have anything to add to that? Can we agree that that's the fulfilled that we're talking about?
I like that actually.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that definition is a good
Okay.
one because it still leaves room to define fulfillment for yourself. With
Right.
that.
So
Right.
because y'all don't know me in real life, but I always have a story. So I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I was at my mom's best friend's house, and my mom's best friend's daughter loved rice and bacon. Now I think that's a ridiculous combination because everybody knows bacon goes with grits
That's right.
or
Bacon
pancakes.
definitely
Her
goes
favorite
to it.
pancakes.
Mhm.
So I was offered eggs. Now, people who know me know I don't fuck with eggs on any edible level. Like, I'll make them for other people. I'll put them in things, but I'm not going to eat scrambled eggs, poached eggs, over easy eggs. No. And so at that age, I couldn't actually verbalize what it was about eggs that I didn't like. And Sweetie's like, oh, they're good. Eat some of these eggs. Eat some of these eggs. But to me, they were not good. So early on, I realized there are things that other people like that I just don't like. That just don't do it for me. Eggs didn't do it then, doesn't do it now. And I think that is one of the things, one of the earliest, I guess, down the path toward fulfillment, or the idea of personal fulfillment for me, is understanding that what makes somebody else's mouth water does nothing for me. And I've got to find the things that I like to do.
Right.
So,
Yep.
I think it took me a longer time to figure out what I knew things that made me happy, and I knew things like it's funny that you give the eggs example. I remember in college one of the biggest arguments I ever had with my roommates was about the fact that they ate Quaker grits and I ate Jim Dandy. This is so
that's
stupid.
just stupid.
I ate Jim Dandy, but it was like we got into this whole thing.
Where are
Look,
you buying Jim Dandy grits at? Like, you got to buy them online, right?
no, they were sold in the grocery store. But listen, the thing was that I realized that there were certain things that I was not gonna budge on that made me, like you said, happy. That I realized at that point that I was able to stand my ground for things that I liked that went against the grain, if that makes sense. It is a stupid, example because it's grits, but I was like standing in my truth.
Mm-mm.
In that moment, like, no, I'm not paying for no Quaker Oats grits if I'm not gonna eat them. But but as far as career and things were concerned, I think it took me a longer time to realize that people can tell you what you're supposed to do in life, and you kind of follow along with that, and then you get to a certain age and realize maybe this isn't where I was supposed to be, even though at the time when you were pursuing that goal, you were so caught up in pursuing that goal that you thought you were fulfilled.
Mhm.
And so that's something that I've experienced over the years.
I think also that something that is fulfilling or was fulfilling as you evolve, that marker also changes. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know things that fulfilled me, especially professionally and personally, even down to the way I dressed or whatever, being myself, who myself was, changed over the years. And so there were different things that I found fulfilling, or I had a different quest. So like right now, professionally speaking, I'm kind of shifting toward things that I know will be more fulfilling for me, because I feel like some other people that we know kind of untapped, or like I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing professionally. So because you can't really live for a future time, and you still have to find fulfillment, or at least strive, I believe, in the current moment. I try to find ways that I can be fulfilled doing what it is that I'm doing day to day while still looking for opportunities to do the thing that I feel is truly what I really want to be doing, that truly has my heart, I guess I should say. So how can I not just be counting down the days until I do something else? And how can I not say I'll be happy when? How can I still create happiness right now and move toward what it is that I really want to be doing? And I think that that's kind of part of living a fulfilled life, is learning how to do that, or learning that you can do that in a lot of situations.
But I
Yeah.
think, here's the thing though, you didn't create, well, I don't think any of us created, outside of my student loans, situations that restricted us from reevaluating down the line. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if you have 3 kids by the time you're 22, the next 18 years is really probably going to be dedicated to raising them, surviving with them, those types of things. So you don't get the luxury of considering at 26, or you don't prioritize
Mm-hmm.
considering at 26, am I really fulfilled as a mother? Even if you're not, you're still kind of obligated legally to continue being a mother to some
Yeah,
degree.
but that's exactly what I mean. But how can you find fulfillment in that while still looking for what truly speaks to your own heart?
Oh, you don't find fulfillment. A lot of people end up miserable, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't even get the chance to consider why they are miserable. They created these obligations, whether it's career, whether it's a marriage, whether it's children, whether it's where they decided to live, and are locked into it, and really never take a breather to say, why am I miserable? What can I do to extricate myself from the situation, or what can I do to find fulfillment either in this situation or carve out some fulfillment externally outside of the situation.
I think the first thing you said is the key, though, like the why. If you don't take time to even figure that out, which some people are in denial and don't, then you're not going to be able to do anything about it. You're just going to feel it and experience it.
Well,
So,
I think that a good example of trying to look for outside fulfillment because of something that you didn't have earlier was on Hollywood Exes and Buddha. I know you don't watch reality TV, but Andrea Kelly is R. Kelly's ex-wife, and so they have how many kids together? I think it's 3 children.
No, they got a starting lineup. I think they got like 5 kids. They
Oh,
got,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, they have a boatload of children together, and she got remarried to this other guy who didn't want any more kids, and he had a vasectomy so that he couldn't have any more. He was adamant about the fact that he did not want any more children, and then she acted as if, I'm sorry, she is acting as if something was wrong with him for not wanting more kids. And
hmm,
so when they delved into the root of the problem, because they both have children,
right,
so technically they are fulfilled because they have kids, but she wanted more children. And when
right.
they got to the root of the problem was that she had never experienced having a family because she was essentially a single mom, even though she was married to Robert. He was out doing his own thing. So what she wanted was basically a do-over
Hmm.
instead of looking for fulfillment in the kids that she already had, or maybe, enfolding her life into his children. She pretty much wanted a do-over.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I thought that was interesting.
But I don't think she's going to be fulfilled. She would be fulfilled with those kids anyway, because what would happen? Speaking of reality television, on the Real Housewives of Orange County, Tamara got married to a younger guy, and she already has also a gang of kids, 3, 4, really anything 3 and beyond to me is a gang. Um, and she wanted more kids with him, so excuse me, not they, got this electronic baby, and she was unhappy with his performance in the quote unquote fake raising of the baby. Like, he wasn't helpful, he was still doing his activities and everything. So she wouldn't have been fulfilled if they had a real baby. She would be frustrated and pissy with him. The
Yes,
problem
but
is their fulfillment is that they want someone who wants to be on on a project with them, and that
Yeah,
project is
and
kids.
and that's the thing with Andrea. Like, it was like she couldn't see that in her quest to have a kid with this dude who obviously, I mean, he under no circumstances said, he even she tried to have lunch with his mother so that his mother could convince her to have kids. And the mother was like, no, he doesn't want kids. Y'all don't need to have kids. But it was like she couldn't see that she was pretty much about to set herself up, because I could see her doing something crazy if he didn't have a vasectomy, like, forgetting, quote unquote, her birth control, or, poking a hole in the condom. But she would set up herself in a situation to have more kids and to be a single mom in a marriage again.
In a marriage, right?
Yeah, thinking that this was going to fulfill them.
But
What triggers somebody to realize? Because I really don't think the kids are the issue. I think she's looking for someone to have a partnership and work on a project with.
Well, but see, that's what I was gonna say, is that first of all, a lot of what it sounds like is some form of delusion. But the other thing is, so the examples so far seem to be all about things that are outside of the person's own control.
Right.
Like they want to control someone else's life, and they want to make everything kind of bend to their will, instead of, back to what we talked about, finding fulfillment within you.
But how would you tell somebody to do that, Lady Buddha? Like, how would you tell a young person who is, setting themselves on a path to find all these external things, external paths to happiness? What would you tell them to do? What work would you tell them to do? What would you prescribe?
I mean, that's a good question, because that's actually some of the work that I've done over the past 13, 14 years of practicing Buddhism. Like, that's central to the practice, is learning how to believe in yourself, learning how to see yourself as enough, learning how to create opportunities that are within your control, paying attention to patterns. So, like, I try to ask people questions. If they say, such and such never listens to me and it frustrates me and makes me mad, so I start to ask questions like, what are other situations in which you feel like people aren't listening to you? So that they can start to pick up on, it's not that it's just that person. It may be magnified because it's that person to them. But it's something that happens across all kinds of realms, and so that's something that they need to then go work on inside of them, about why they aren't heard. And so talking louder isn't going to be the answer to the question, but what is it about you that's kind of triggering that kind of response, and what can you do on the inside to challenge or reframe or regroup you? And so it's something, I mean, it's a gentle conversation. I mean, you can't just kind of throw things in people, but you kind of have to get people to, like, the first step is always going to be awareness. Like, you definitely can't change anything until you become aware of it in the first place. So getting people to just stop and reflect, my favorite word, is the first step in all of that. I mean, because if you're not paying attention to it, if you will never realize that everything is about these externals and delusions that you can't control. The only person that you can ever control is always going to be you. You can't really even control that 3-year-old sitting over there throwing a tantrum and falling out. But you can control you. So that's where you have to start.
And I think, too, like with the Andrea scenario, when she had that conversation with Cherie and her husband, it was, and I know that it's reality TV, so it was, chopped up into segments or whatever, but I thought that the conversation that they had and the way they led her to see the root of why she was wanting those kids was very powerful for her, because I don't think she even realized that she was holding on to that hurt. And I think also with fulfillment, when people are looking for external factors, they're looking to fill some sort of hole that they have, or maybe heal some sort of unresolved hurt that they've experienced in the past. And so that was what she was doing. So I think that's part of the work that you need to do, is see if my desires are tied to some unresolved issue.
But, going back to what you said about her holding on to that hurt, I think under the umbrella of quote unquote strong black woman, there's like a light shining under my blinds, and I don't understand where it's coming from. Under that umbrella of strong black woman, you aren't supposed to stop, acknowledge hurt, deal with hurt. You're just supposed to press on. And Andrea has pressed on through all of R. Kelly's shenanigans, public humiliation, just everything there. And I think, like, where's the value? Like, you people often put value on getting to tomorrow without dealing with today. Right. I think that also falls under the umbrella of particularly the strong black woman, or the strong woman in general, I'm
Mhm.
not going to deal with today because I need to put on this face and make it to tomorrow.
Right.
You can do both.
Right.
You can, but I think a lot of people don't even think that they have and that's one of the things too is that you have to take time to do that.
You
Hmm.
And I
do.
think that people get so caught up in just trying to make it to tomorrow that they don't take the time to reflect on what is hindering them from being fulfilled today.
And
Mhm.
And that's
that's why
that's
I say
that's a
fill
thought
me
that we have to get out of. We, especially women, we have to get out of that thought.
I mean, you do have to, and then you can find creative spaces, and that's why I think like conversations like this or other ones are helpful, even in passing, because we're not talking about that you have to go sit, on a 2-day retreat somewhere in silence when you're taking a 5-minute shower, because that's as much time as you have,
hmm
or while you're rinsing out your hair, or while you're starting up the car because it's cold, or waiting on the bus stop because you're outside. I mean, those are times when you can just take a moment and just think or reflect or journal if you're riding on the bus or on a train, or so it's like it doesn't have to be a long drawn out thing, but just starting a practice of paying attention is, I think, a good starting step. Just and so like Akila Richards is someone who I respect and admire, and her question, which I brought up before, is just starting with the question, how do I want to feel? Just
Mm.
asking that, how do I want to feel? And not what do I want to happen, not what do I want to have, how do I want to feel? And then starting from just learning how to be honest with the answer to that question, then you can move outward. But that's a hard question to answer sometimes.
I
It's a
think
hard question to ask yourself.
that's becoming a recurring theme among women, at least within the last 10 years that I've been seeing just on television shows and movies and, stuff like that. Because I think back to the movie, it's the remake of the 1938 film, The Women. And if y'all haven't seen The Women, you have to see it, like both versions, the 1938 version and the 2008 version. But in the 2008 version, Bette Midler's character she led Meg Ryan's character to that process that you're talking about. Akila always asks, like, what do you want? How do you want to feel? And
Hmm.
so she took some time out just after she had like a disaster in her life, took some time out to basically look to see what she wanted. And I guess my question to you guys is, have you all, like, how do you guys uh monitor or do self checks for your feelings? Like, what do you do? Do you journal? Do you talk it out? Like, how do you do it?
I talk it out, but let me just say what's going on outside because, ladies, you were here when the skies were opening. So right
Yeah.
now, the sun is beaming like it is 4 o'clock, and I don't know if this is about to be the end for us.
That sounds like tornado weather, babe.
Right.
Yep.
So
And if it's still raining with the sun, they call that the devil beating his wife behind the door or
I
some.
don't know if it's raining, but the sun is definitely beaming down. So I may have to escape to an inner room of the house. So I just want to put that out there. With regard to finding out, doing that assessment, I know for me, when I have like really great feelings, I guess, and I'll probably jump around here. When I have great feelings about things, um, I try to think about what's giving me that feeling. And the reason I say that is because I know that in the past I have thought, particularly in relationships, that if I am with someone and we're doing something, I would, excuse me, attach that great feeling to that someone when it was really that thing and not that someone. And
Hmm.
Mm.
so I do that. I consider, you know, if I'm at work and my name at the quarterly meeting is flashed on the board because of something, I have to think, is it that I am proud that I did a good job? Am I proud about the recognition? Or am I hustling on all the interest that I can make off that extra money? Like, I mean, is that, like, where is this feeling coming from? And so once I find out where the feeling is coming from, I sort of can better look for that high. And I don't know if I'm actually answering the question, but
No, you are.
yeah, so I can do a better job of looking for that high because, for instance, with the job situation, if that high is really financial, then I know that there may be some things that I want to buy, or a certain level of financial security that I'm looking to achieve shortly. And so I can then channel my energies there on that goal and continue to get that high. But if I also know if I channel it in the wrong place, that, oh, it's for recognition, then next time I get recognition, it's not going to feel so sweet, because that's not really the root of that. That's not the need that was being met. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just stop for a second because we do have a few comments. LB says, I think life is about balance. Yes. We've all got to figure out what we want in life, how to get it, and how to balance it with the things we need to do. And as those things change, we have to adjust as needed. Yes, so don't walk up to a door and just because last time you pushed it in and open doesn't mean you stand there for 10 minutes and push it. Maybe this time you got to pull it. After a while, you have to make those adjustments. Kimba Fuzz, hey girl, says, no questions, but I'm loving this conversation. I do feel that we as women have a tendency to focus more on getting to a destination instead of enjoying the discovery of the journey. Then she followed up by saying, it's an orange Sunday.
That is so freaking true. That is the yes.
That's one difference between men and women, though. I think men can operate on today, and
I don't know. I see men operating in all kinds of interesting ways. But Soja, what was your question again about? What do
you do? Yeah, what do you do to self-check?
I mean, it's a good question because when Akila first posed that question to me, that was the first time I heard it. And up until that point, I was in a lull. Like I was in a point where I needed to hear that question. And I felt estranged from tools that I had used previously, which mostly included just nature or kind of devising programs. Like I got that from you, Sojo, that anytime I started to feel like I was off kilter, even if I didn't know why, and I just felt like I needed to reconnect, I would create a way to reconnect. I would create some kind of a program. I would be, by that I mean I would like read certain things every day or engage in certain practices every day. So I wouldn't investigate the why as much as just I needed to do something to get recentered. So I would just do that. Mm-hmm. But her asking the question, how do I want to feel? Just the question and asking it to myself was enough for me to kind of really be like, wow, because I realized that I was feeling sad and all kinds of things that didn't really fit with what was going on in my life externally at the time. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a really interesting realization, but it wasn't, even though I felt sad about it, I felt glad about the opportunity to then do something about it. But for me, because I do blog and kind of more journaling now, but I can't say that I'm a consistent journaler. Once I do realize that there's something going on, that is a way for me to at least start writing more to try to discover what it is, and also reading more. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I start to see myself in the books that I read. So if there's a book that I'm reading and it's not fulfilling, I keep like picking up another book and just abandoning books until I say, oh, yes, this is speaking to me, whether it's a funny novel or whatever it is, and something in that kind of mirrors something that I need to see or hear or feel. So it kind of happens organically, but now that I know that question, I keep bringing it up because it was such a powerful shift. So that's a question that I will continue to ask whenever I feel off kilter. I'll ask myself that, which hasn't happened since then, but that's something that I'm going to put in my toolkit for later.
I have a question about that, though, Lady Buddha.
Yep.
Thinking of self. So just as a background, women are known for talking, but I don't think, and at least I know that my friends that I see very often, I don't have these conversations for various reasons. But like the idea of how do you want to feel mm-hmm. has been colored with selfishness. Mm-hmm. Like you shouldn't be focusing on how you want to feel. You should be giving other people their feelings.
Right.
So has that
you can't walk in your purpose, because part of your purpose, I believe, is not just being fulfilled within yourself, but it's also connecting with other people in the universe, basically feeding into other people. But you can't properly do that if you're not monitoring how you feel yourself. You got to be a little bit selfish in order to be selfless. Mm-hmm. In my opinion.
But women aren't encouraged to do that, you guys. You know it. We're not encouraged to be selfish.
I know, I know. I want to give a book plug too, since we were, we were talking about Audible and all that stuff. There's a book that helped me, and it was called it's by Lynn Cochran, and there's a guy called Edgar Casey, and people can Google him or whatever. But it basically, the book was called Edgar Casey on Secrets of the Universe and How to Use Them in Your Life. And I put that on our WWM Pod Reads. But
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the books that helped me do a self-check in Buddha. I think you and I talked about that years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's been a few
Um,
years. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because one of the things they had was doing like 5 minute like brain dumps on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like forget judgment, forget trying to figure out how somebody is going to think about what you're thinking or feeling at that time, and just write words. Like it could be words, phrases, or whatever. And so I started doing that. I started doing it on paper, but then I started doing it on Wordle, that little thing where you can do like the word cloud. And it was a visual thing. When I would do it on Wordle and just take 5 minutes and just type whatever I'm feeling and do a word cloud, I could see clearly whatever was bothering me or wherever I was supposed to go next. It was such a huge help to me, even in making decisions about things. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there.
Well, I'd like to propose, there's so much to this topic, but the thing that, at least right now at this point, that I think is really valuable is asking the question of how you want to feel. And maybe, our listeners and watchers can sort of, hit us up on Twitter and talk about how they want to feel, and maybe we can do another show that follows up on, okay, so you now know how you want to feel, what are the next steps? Because y'all know I'm really big about, okay, now what you gonna do?
Action items, right? You are
action items.
And can I just say this about the two of y'all? Y'all know I don't really share with people. Like, y'all know that.
Well, that's
but
your people. So with the black heart.
Shut up. But over the last however many years that we've been doing this instant messenger thing, 2-3 years now, we've had that conversation so many times, and you guys really help me with clarity in situations. Like the conversation we're having on this podcast is something that we have done privately among ourselves, and like even just putting it out there to people who are listening to the podcast, just know that when you're around like-minded people, it makes it so much easier, to kind of help recenter yourself if you need to, or asking people, well, what do you do when you're feeling this way? Because sometimes you can just be in your own bubble, in your own funk, and think that nobody else knows how you feel, or not even know how to get out of it. And there are people, that can help you with that.
And it's okay if it's not the people you interact with on a regular basis. That's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily make them less of your friend. It's just, and another thing I'm about is compartmentalizing that, you have your kick it friends, you have your, my fiance and I are going to get dinner friends.
So anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but
there is one more thing I wanted to say about that. It's in terms of a tool, and it's kind of a little bit more formal. And I developed it because I was planning to do a research study about it. But anyway, I interviewed myself about a specific topic that I felt that there was something in there that was bothering me, that was a major block for me in attracting the relationships that I wanted. And so I wanted to be clear about how I felt and what it was, and I knew it was in there somewhere, but I wasn't sure, but I had a vague idea. So I interviewed myself, and I recorded it and listened back to it. And just the process of asking myself questions about what happened and just talking, no one else is listening but me, so I'm not censoring for anyone, and then listening back to it is kind of like equivalent to that Wordle. Except that I could just hear. So I heard the truth, I heard emotion, I heard stuff that I just didn't realize was in there, and it just really kind of unlocked really deep stuff. And then that's how I realized that I was holding on to hurt that was literally at that point 20 years old. And so that ended up being a big catalyst for moving forward. And I wouldn't have thought that I had that much hurt if I didn't spend that time asking myself about it. So that's why I always advocate for it, because it was such a major shift.
Right. So, like I said, what we'll do is we'll do a follow-up show with, a discussion of how we want to feel and some next steps. But I do want to read LB's latest comments,
Mhm.
part one and part two. To Kimba's point, I'm sure there are things that are specific to women and the issues you all face, but I think in general, all people need to find a way to enjoy the journey or process of things more than we do. Sometimes we get caught in trying to get there. I'm sorry, sometimes we get so caught in trying to get there that we forget to live life and let things happen. We become so goal oriented that we lose a bit of the natural human side of things. I agree with that, but here's the thing though, like I guess that the struggle is that there are still things you have to do. So if you have to wake up in the morning and cook breakfast for people, whether it's your kids, whether it could be an elderly parent that you have to take care of, you may not have or even you may not prioritize the space in your life to do all this fancy introspection and thought-based work that we're talking about. So, keep that in mind. I don't hold it against anybody if they're saying, "Oh, that's just mumbo jumbo, blah blah blah." A couple things. Maybe you aren't there for it. Going on to Orange is the New Black. I'm not going to make the announcement that we're starting, but there was a point where somebody said that maybe we don't want to feel. So maybe we don't want to. People
Yeah, that
don't
was one
want
of the
to.
ones that Hussein said that
Right.
maybe
Oh
we
wait, we
felt
gotta
all the
ring the
things we're
alarm.
gonna
Ring
be
the
able to
alarm.
survive. Mm-hmm.
We're getting into Orange is the New Black, right? I guess
Oh
now.
yeah, but wait, yeah, what you said. Oh, wrong.
Oh wow! Oh stop!
I'm trying to find this. I was
But
trying
you're
to
not
find
drinking. Why can't you do it right now? You're sober.
because I forgot what the sound effects sounded like.
Well, you just normally yell out warning, warning. That's you,
Yeah.
Sojo.
Oh, warning, warning. Okay.
It would be so poetic if some thunder had just just
No, it
done.
wouldn't, because honestly, I'm on a corner, so I'm like windows from everywhere. The only place without a window in my house is the second bathroom, so I'd be holed up in there.
Okay, but you're right. Pusey did say that. She was like, what, about the not wanting to feel. And I think some people feel like it's easier to function by not feeling.
hmm Yeah. So with that said, are you guys ready to sort of taper off on this and pick it up maybe again, maybe next month, and give people a little time or in a few weeks?
Sure, I definitely want people to tweet us, how do you want to feel? Like, if y'all could give us three things, like, or even just one, between one and three things, like, how do you want to feel? And we'll collect those and talk
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
and you can also tweet how are you feeling now? Like, kind of what's the distance between how you want to feel and what? Because like I was feeling sad, but somebody might have another feeling that they were feeling, and I wanted to feel happy.
Or, Buddha, put it as a Facebook prompt.
Okay,
hmm
Yeah, do that as a Facebook prompt. That would be cool.
okay.
So let's move over to Orange is the New Black. So we're gonna do episodes at least 10 and 11. I don't know if we're gonna make it to 12. Who knows?
Why is John Garcia laughing at us? 'Cause I think I did that sound effect.
What? What's going on? I'm sorry. Huh?
We're getting laughed at.
Oh,
John Garcia checked in. He's laughing at me. What's up, John? Go ahead.
so episode 10 is entitled the Moustachioed Shit. It focuses on Piper and Alex, and obviously that is causes me to retch a little bit. The guards get tougher in a bid to turn up prison contraband. Daya's pregnancy is revealed. Mendez is fired and arrested because he is believed to be the father. More history on Alex and Piper's relationship is explored in flashbacks. Piper figures out that Larry and Polly slept together. V tries to join Red's business in the garden. Thoughts, lady, thoughts?
My first thought was, hold on. Like you said, I didn't want any more pipe. I'm laughing at John's comment. Yes, it was for my previous sound effects. My first thought was that I didn't too much mind Piper and Alex's backstory because it wasn't about her, her present, pick me, that whole thing. It was cool to see that Piper was kind of like a side chick at first, and how Alex's girlfriend found her and then put the poo on her front lawn. I thought that was funny. And then to see how it kind of, paralleled to where when she found out about Larry and her best friend sleeping together, how the best friend knew that once she, the best friend knew once that poo showed up on her front lawn that she had slept with him. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, I don't think anything related to Piper is cute. If she had a if what's her name Laverne had done a wig for her that looked like, wait, that's not this episode. Okay. If she got shanked and died, if Puxatawny or whatever killed Piper off, I'd be okay.
I also thought that flashback Piper seemed much more emotionally attached to flashback Alex than I've ever seen her with Larry, and I thought that was something.
Yeah, she was always really into Alex, which kind of makes their relationship, make sense. Their relationship was always more interesting to me than the relationship between Piper and Larry to me. But yeah, for that episode, I really couldn't believe that what's his name? The guy Diaz. No.
One Leg.
Bennett.
Yeah. Bennett. Mm-hmm. I really couldn't believe that he caved like that. That he went to go tell, and that all the things with him cracking, that whole part has just been strange and interesting to me. And the fact that Mendez was arrested, is that when all the inmates lined up on each side while he got escorted out, and then he starts to yell at Daya, "I love you," and take care of the baby and all that kind of yeah. He
wants to name the baby Stan, which I thought was funny.
But I think this is, I don't know if this is where I started to sort of not appreciate Daya's basic existence, because she keeps showing with this whole pregnancy and all the stuff that's going on, she keeps showing that she still doesn't understand how life works.
She doesn't know.
She wants Bennett to be a one-legged former prison guard in jail. She doesn't see how stupid that is.
Because she's never been loved. Remember, she's never gotten true love from her mother. The person that she was sleeping with was her mother's boyfriend, so she's never had anybody that she called her. No, going back to that unresolved hurt and purpose and everything else, her actions are based on her thinking how love is supposed to be, like some sort of fairy tale where the guy, no matter what his situation, stands on top of the rooftop and, professes himself. That's where her mindset is from, because she's never experienced fulfillment emotionally.
But I think on an even deeper level, I think that she feels like a relationship is equal hurt. You have to hurt for me because I'm hurting. We have to. That's how we're gonna suffer together while we're in prison. Which is interesting to me that people are getting that. What's her name? I think this is the episode where Piper gets a letter from Alex, because I thought felons couldn't write other people in prisons. I thought that you couldn't do that. So.
But she's also gonna visit her later. That killed me too.
Later. So why is Daya thinking that this is another thing that bothers me about this Daya Bennett relationship? How much personal time and interaction do they get where they're so in love? Same thing with Mustache, with Porn Stash. How much time are they getting? And this might be key for a lot of women maybe who can't get men. Stop spending so much time with them. Stop letting them know your truth, that you're batshit crazy.
Michelle also brings up, also in Daya's world, everyone goes to jail.
Well, and Daya said as much. She was like, he was like, "What, you want me to go to jail?" And she was like, "Well, then we'll be even, or then we'll be together, or it will be even, yeah, because they won't even be in jail together." And I was just like, please get off the screen. This is back to what Miss Smart said. Yet again, Daya, what are you doing? So Daya and Piper are now running for who is the most irritating. And Piper, when she's angry, is a lot less irritating because she's a lot less entitled. She's too busy being angry to do her entitled stuff. So it's, Daya might be in first place right now. But, V breaking into Red, I'm looking for my notes and I can't find them anywhere. But V is so gross. Hey, they're all in WhatsApp. I told y'all all my notes. Okay.
Yeah, you did. You tried to engage us in conversation and we weren't having it.
Yeah, I kept typing it to y'all, so I'm going to scroll up and see what I wrote. But V is gross. I
Mhm.
mean, we already knew she was a predator, but they're doing a really good job revealing her as extremely manipulative to the point of scary. And did you call her a sociopath?
She
Mhm.
is
Soja?
a sociopath. You peel back her layers, and they keep getting darker
I
and
mean, they get
darker.
darker and darker, and it's just like, and I mean, she plays people. She smiles, she laughs, she punches you out, she steals muscles in on your territory. She punches you out again. She smiles, she laughs, she manipulates friend against friend.
When
She
she got Tasty to give Nikki those drugs, I about like that. I was done. Like I was so done because of out of all people, like Nikki is the one like even though she's a drug addict or whatever, she's pure. You know what I'm saying? She's very straightforward. So for them to try to hook her back into being an addict, like that was just the lowest of the low for
Well, do
me.
you think? Do
here's
you
what I
think
wrote.
that? Wait, do you think that V's sociopathic tendencies are a result of hurt, survival, or just a personality defect?
They won't give us her other backstory to
But
let
even
us
still,
know.
with that, because
If they
I think it's a personal bit of hurt because she preys on children, and what do we know? You know, oftentimes people who have been preyed on become the preyers. You know, they become that disgusting person. So in my mind, I built a story that B was a foster child or in some bad childhood situation where someone older taught her the ropes, manipulated her, and she swore that, well, not swore, but she has been trained that part of life and being successful is to have minions to a degree. And before you read Lady Buddha, let me just read Kimber Fuzz's comment. Piper is a pathetic idiot. Oops, did I say that out loud? Sorry, but she
Girl,
is. That
you
said,
say it out loud.
loves her reaction to Larry and her not best friend. Yes.
Yeah, I did. I did find it. And I was talking about Daya, and I quoted Red when she said, "You don't drink poison and wait for it to kill your enemy," when she
Mhm.
was talking to Piper.
Mhm.
And then I wrote, "Man, I'm mad everyone is finding Red's opening," because that's when they were all starting to, like, Boo found it, and then V found it. Well, Boo told V. But then I wrote, "V is one manipulative bitch." And then I wrote, "Her ass is scary. Episode 10 is some dark shit." And then who is it who made the quote, "You're like a pedophile without the sex"? Who said that? Because that's not,
Tuesday says
that was
that to her in
Tuesday.
episode 11, which was after V got Suzanne to beat her up. Like it was like Suzanne went
That's
off
what it
like a
was.
well-trained dog, and it reminded me
Yes.
of how I could control Kadar.
Yeah.
When he was alive, like I allowed him to attack a dude one time, and it was like an on and off command, just like she did. But it was like that's a person, you know what I'm saying? But
Well, but she even uses like head motions and all kinds of stuff. But so to answer the question about is it her, it could be a combination of all those things, but something about her is like the remorse switch is definitely off, and it feels more
Cruel.
germane than just yeah, it's cruel. It seems more to it than just I was hurt and therefore I'm going to hurt you, because it's kind of like how Liz Cheney is like one of the most fluent liars I've ever seen, and it grosses me out because it's so scary. It's like that with V. She's so fluent in being able to be manipulative at an instant and seem to be very heartless with it, and that's why it's scary to me. Like it doesn't seem like she has the capability of being remorseful at all, and so they keep revealing that more and more as we go along. So
well,
be
you
it.
sent us an article where it said that the 9 ways Orange is the New Black shatters racial and gender stereotypes. And one of the things that
Right.
they said about V was V's manipulation of troubled and orphaned children in New York's inner city to fuel her drug operation isn't typical of any race or gender. What
Right.
makes V so menacing is that she is driven by basic impulses that are universal and not easily dismissed as irrational. V can be any race or gender, which makes her both a breakthrough and someone
Yeah.
transformational. So
She's a
V could be
chameleon. She's a
evil.
chameleon.
Yeah, yeah. A couple of side things that happened in that thing too was that the jig was up with Morello because her guy she was
Oh.
stalking,
Was that
came,
10?
yeah, came and
Oh
said,
yeah.
"You broke into my house. I know it was you, and we ain't never been engaged." And basically went off in the visitation room. And also,
I wondered what was going to happen with fallout from that, because you can't just take a bath in somebody's house and like make.
Yeah, and I don't see how she didn't get more time because he could have gotten some DNA since she was all up in the tub in the lady's veil. But anyway, and also Sophia plays cards with her son and they have a breakthrough moment. So I thought those were some cute things that happened that episode.
That was nice.
But see, I question the reality of that because y'all know little boys. And I don't know that I know a little boy, even if they have like a trans uncle, a gay uncle, whatever, that's going to willingly be cool with their daddy becoming a woman. So I don't, and I wish they told us the time between, when he turned her in, and well, no, when she started the process, when he turned her in, and then that card situation. Because I don't know that a lot of children, because children aren't necessarily all that evolved, that they would be cool with, the fact that probably other children tease him that his daddy is a woman, and he probably would look and blame his daddy for the fact that he gets clowned at school all the time. Like there's so many things that I don't know if it was time enough for him to deal with those feelings, even if he was going to counseling.
Well, they haven't really given us as much Sophia as we would have liked to have had based on our love for her in season 1. So it's almost like they're trying to tie her storyline up in a neat little package. That's what it felt like to me, because we saw him get teased in the shoe store in season 1. We saw him like turn her in. We saw him even in this scene be standoffish until the card thing. So I felt like they were trying to tie up the storyline. Not necessarily that it was realistic, but they were like, okay, see, their family is going to be all right. Let's keep it moving.
They're not doing a good job of tying it up.
Well, I'll say this real quick, though, because I agree with you all, but at the same time, kind of living in a house with kids, one of the things that has struck me this whole time has been how fast forgiveness happens. And so we're always talking about smaller moments and not this big whatever, but it's still sometimes, and it could be things that really are slights, but as adults, you hold on to them longer. But it's so quick. It's like instant. And that's one of the things that was like a big lesson for me several months ago, to just kind of be a party to that and witness it in real time all the time. And I was just kind of like, wow, just all the time. So even though I'm not sure that is really true or that can be, applied here, I just will say that, youth forgives a lot more easily than adult.
That's a good point. I'm not around children all that much, so I don't know how they operate. I was one at one point, but I was petty as a child, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready to go on to episode 11? And we'll just close it out there and do the rest at another date. Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. So this episode is called Take a Break from Your Values, and the summary is Piper finally reaches out to Alex and learned that Cooper wasn't convicted. Piper is told that she's being transferred to Virginia. Soso's hunger strike attracts new support that takes on a religious fervor. Polly leaves Pete for Larry. Healy starts a counseling group, Safe Place. The jail, see, this is why I should have my glasses on. The jail newspaper shut down. Sister Ingalls joins the hunger strike. In this episode, we really focus on Sister Ingalls, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Ingalls. So what were your takeaways from this episode, ladies?
That the twist out that Watson had when she came out of the is how I want my natural hair to look like once my twist out dries. Like,
except that you don't want anybody to shank you by mistake.
Right.
Because when she came out, I was like, damn, her hair is looking really good.
It was thick and luscious.
Where they do that at? It's all shiny and curly, and what make them do her hair like that for this episode? And it's because it was a setup for some bullshit.
But no, she didn't. No, Watson didn't get shanked.
That was Watson. No, that wasn't Watson that got shanked.
Who was it then? Because that's who I thought it was.
No, that was a random.
That was who?
That was a random person. It wasn't Watson.
Are you sure?
We're positive. We've seen.
Okay, so you watched the rest of it. Okay, you watched the whole
series. No, it was a random. It was a random.
Did you think it was Watson before you watched the next episode?
No.
not think it was Watson.
Oh, I wasn't
Watson
watching
has a track body. Like, that was an older
I
person.
didn't see the body. I didn't
Yeah.
see. All I saw was the hair, and I was just like, "Well, wonder why they made a big, why they had her hair so different." And then I saw V in the background because the person obviously thought it was V. So I just saw the hair. I didn't focus on the body. So I have to go back and watch that again. Ugh, okay,
That
good.
last episode where she, after Pusey got beat up,
hmm
she has a confrontation with V, and that is where she tells V, "You're like a pedophile without the sex."
Mm-hmm.
Because that, I mean, and I thought that was spot on because that really, I mean, that just encapsulated everything that I just felt because it was so, like V is grossing me out right now. I really can't.
Preys on people, makes them feel special, and uses that feeling to manipulate them to do her dirty work or her clean work or whatever work.
Just for her own gain. The
Yep.
end. It's gross. It's horrible. Yep.
A couple of other things I put was that sister. I said her name was Sister Jane. I don't know where I got that from, but I said, "Oh, okay." I said Sister Jane is Kanye, because her ego is like totally out of control. Yeah,
And who knew she got excommunicated?
right. I mean, her whole little story was kind of funny, but I did like that she went in on Caputo with that compassionate release thing, like when they were trying to pull her into the hunger strike. Of course, she was like she wasn't really into it, and then she walked in and started talking about compassionate release was unconscionable, inhumane, and illegal. And so I like that they put that little line in, for that. And then go ahead.
I was just gonna say Black Cindy talking to V, not V, Red, about trying to get in on Red space, and she says, "You think you can open a road and only white people can drive on it? The bathrooms may be segregated, but the market be free."
Yes. And then she rats out Boo.
Yep.
She did rat out Boo.
That was a cherry on the sundae right there, ratting out Boo.
And that's what I wrote. I still don't get Boo. Like, Boo's confusing to me. I thought, Boo season 1, I understood who she was, where she was, what she was doing. But Boo season 2, people keep getting intertwined with her and against her, and she's against people. And I don't understand why, because they don't show enough about Boo's interactions with any of these people to make any of these beefs make sense.
Right, and we don't know why Boo dropped that dime on Red. There's nothing.
But remember, we were thinking that Boo was gonna shank what's her name when she got out. Remember when she was the girl's ex-girlfriend in season 1, and we thought that she was gonna shank her, and she ended up using the screwdriver for personal reasons.
Right.
Yeah, she's always been a little shady. So I think season 2 maybe we'll get some Boo backstory, so we don't side eye her as much. But and the only other thing I had on that was that basically the Golden Girls shanking bitches. Like, that's
Listen, what you're not gonna do is underestimate an old broad that's close with her 1 foot in the grave. That's what you're not gonna do.
which is what they essentially told those Spanish chicks.
Yeah. Like, look, girl, we not here for no play. We done seen some things, and we'll do some things.
Yes. So that was it that I put. Oh, also when they were trying to come up with Figueroa and Caputo were trying to come up with like a little
rape and roll shit.
Right, rock and rape the vote. Like, they were trying to come up with whatever for Moustachioed porn stash's arrest. So that was it for that one.
Well, this is the one in which Larry and Polly come out as together. So it's not just that Piper found out, but that they also told Polly's husband, or that
who reacted, "You cuckolded me." That was
right. And he was like, he was like, "You guys, you want a 3-way, me, you, and her?" And then he was like, "No, just these two."
That scene was funny to me. Like, his whole thing, "You cuckolded me. What is going on here?" Like that. Yeah.
I never thought about it like that. But he really actually looked sad. But then Polly told me later that he was glad to be off the hook. So I don't know.
Because that wasn't his fulfillment. He thought he'd be fulfilled, and he thought it was the right thing to do to get married and have babies. Or maybe she thought getting married and having babies was right. But it wasn't at least for him, his fulfillment because he went off.
I like how you did that. Brought it full circle.
This is what I'm like, a belt that cinches it together.
All right. Amen. On that note.
Yes. On that note, let's wind this down, ladies, and maybe give our cheers to whomever. So I will start, of course, with Lady Buddha because that's how it works.
I have to give. So I've been getting messages from people that tell me, don't let the wedding industry bully you around and don't get beat down by the wedding industry. And so I went venue hunting or scouting this weekend with Blue. And I just have to give cheers to Bill Wynn, who was one of the people that we met and actually one of the places we stopped spontaneously without an appointment. He was wonderful and he was beautiful to the point where I don't hug spontaneously. I just had to hug that man goodbye. He was just wonderful and beautiful. So I did. And he was like, I like hugs. And he seemed like he was really excited. And so, I don't know if that's going to be our place, but Bill was fantastic. So for people in the service industry who really like what they do, I really appreciate you, and especially Bill Wynn. Cheers to Bill.
Serving his purpose.
He was. It was beautiful. What about y'all?
Sojourner, you go next since I'm like the talker this week, so whatever.
My cheers are to Quita and Sterling over at the Slacker Society podcast and the Gaming and Then Some podcast. One positive thing about social media is that you get a chance, and podcasting, is that you get a chance to encounter some really cool people, and you find yourself riding for them through their trials and their triumphs like you would for people that you know in real life. And so, they're going through some trials right now and could use the podcast, world support. So if y'all will hop on over to Sterling's site, which is www.gatspod.com, or Quita's site, theslackersociety.com, and show them some love. I know they've got some t-shirts that they're selling, Amazon store, and all that stuff. So if y'all will definitely go over and support them, and cheers to them because they are a fun married couple. They are just hilarious. So cheers.
Okay, and I would like to just piggyback on that and ask if anybody talks to them, can you have one of them email me at thinkprettysmart@gmail.com, or maybe I will, but then no, because I'm about to head to this guest room and go to sleep, about sort of maybe helping them in some ways that maybe I can. With regard to cheers, I'd like to send a cheers to my girl Nikki in Texas, because she we don't necessarily talk very often, but with regard to all of the fulfillment stuff that we've been talking about, she and I have had a lot of really good conversations in the last couple of weeks about that, and I appreciate her and her friendship.
Oh, that was sweet.
Shut up. I know punk.
I know, both of y'all, Buddha giving hugs, you giving
hugs. Trust me, Blue clowned me a whole lot about that. I got clowned.
Whoa.
Oh, whatever. Anyway.
Don't forget where to find us and
stuff.
Yes,
we can be reached at whiskeywineandmoonshine.com, obviously. We can also be Facebooked at Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine, actually. You can also hit us up on Twitter, particularly answering that question, how do you want to feel right now? We're at Whiskey, Wine, Moon. That's our Twitter handle. And then we each have individual handles. I am think_P_smart. Lady Buddha is chewing. So Sojo, where are you on the Twitter?
I'm at SojoXOXO, that's SOJOXOXO, and I have 666 followers, which makes me feel a little uncomfortable because it's like the devil's number. So can somebody either unfollow me or some extra person follow me? So I'll
unfollow you.
So I hate you. We can get off that 666, okay?
I'll do it.
All right.
And Lady Buddha, where can the people find you?
I'm on Twitter at ND Collier, that's COLLIER, and I'm on the internet at www.cocostudio.com, COCO Studio, singular, just one, cocostudio.com, and I will post a link to a blog that I wrote about Akila's, But How Do You Want to Feel? So
And in closing, let me just say that you guys, I mean, I know you probably like us or have some affection for us, but you really are slacking on the sharing, the 5-star reviews, and the feedback. So I need you guys to step it up a little bit. This is the only way to build a black nation is if we all get together and, you know, try and support each other. So I need you guys to support a little bit more.
And we already got responses to the questions, so this is gonna be
Good.
feedback next week. So thank you guys who
Okay,
are already
excellent.
putting out
Keep it coming all week, people. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this because I started it without telling the ladies. So I'm just gonna be nice this week and stop it. And in closing, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.